Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I am Wrinkled Threads and today we will be doing a season 4 episode 2 breakdown of Ozark. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you. Please hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps me out greatly, and if you enjoy this content, please hit the like. Please hit the subscribe. All of that good stuff. I Let me see. I'm trying to play Rainbow Six Extraction at the same time that I'm talking to you guys. I also stream this. I also try to make videos for this game and stream it. So I'm trying to like incorporate two things into one, if it's possible. If you guys think that it's whack or something or it's trash, I'll be willing to take that feedback in the comment section below. If you think that it's great, if you think that I'm great, you're dope as shit, and I appreciate it. And please put that in the comment section as well. And so, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so in the opening scene of season 2, we have Ruth going into what looks to be a thrift store. She's searching for something. It looks to be a cookie jar, and it's of a goat. And so it's kind of looking like, what is she getting that for, and then when she brings it back to the house, she starts crying, and then it's like, oh, she's getting that to put Ben's ashes in, because as she's buying it, she's saying that it's perfect, and I wasn't quite understanding why. It's like, okay, this is just like a cookie, it's just like a cookie jar, what is that about, and then when she gets to the house, she starts crying, and I kind of put it together like, oh, okay, she's putting Ben's ashes in there. In the very next scene, we have Marty visiting Detective Maya Miller, and come to find out she had her baby. So between episode 1 and 2, she did have her baby, and she named him Wilson after her grandfather. And the conversation that Marty has with Maya is about Omar Navarro trying to change his image and get out of the game. Maya pretty much tells Marty that that's not gonna happen, and that that's gonna be difficult to pull off. Even if he was to become an informant or something like that, they would want to see some jail. And Marty's saying that he doesn't want any jail time, and he wants to be able to move freely in Mexico. And she's telling him she's not going to go to her bosses and tell them that without something big, like he's going to have to give up big names, he's going to have to do a lot. And Marty's saying like he doesn't know, he'll talk to him and he'll see what he's willing to do, and that sort of stuff. After that, Wendy realizes, it goes to a scene where Wendy realizes that the ashes aren't on the mantle where they once were, and so then she asks Charlotte, has she seen the ashes? And then Charlotte tells her she did not see the ashes, and that's when she goes and asks Jonah. Jonah's quiet at first, but then he tells her that he gave them to Ruth, and Ruth would watch over the ashes. He loved him, and she would watch over the ashes, which is just kind of like Jonah didn't want her to have him because she had him killed. And so so I guess he didn't want her to have him. So then Ruthie over to Ruth's house to go get the ashes. Ruth comes out with a shotgun and tells her, hey, I'm not giving you the ashes back unless Jonah wants me to give them back to take care of them, and that's what I'm gonna do. One shot and you'll be better than you. And so that's pretty much how Ruth felt about it, and they had a kind of an ugly exchange between the two of them, but it was an exchange that Wendy was not going to win, because it's just like, hey, you had him killed, so whatever you want to say about anything, say, because you tried to have him killed, because Wendy tried to tell Ruth like, hey, you were just a fling of his kind of thing. Like, she tried to make it seem like in a month he wasn't even going to talk to you anymore. And Ruth immediately said, well, we'll never know.
R&D needs it alive, and I'll tell you when you find it.
And that was just kind of that, after that, After that, we have Omar calling Marty and says he wants to meet with the detective because he's talking to Marty like, so where are we at with it? You know, that are we willing to make a deal? And it was kind of like and he was just kind of telling them like, hey, they're gonna want some jail time, and Navarro was just like, nah, you know, and so let me see here. And so then Omar's like, nah, and so he basically tells him like, I want to meet with Maya, you know, and talk to her myself, and then after they get off the phone with having that conversation, then Javi shows up to wherever they are. I guess he's back in Mexico, and then Javi shows up to where Omar is. Omar smacks the shit out of him for shooting for killing the sheriff, because for whatever they're working on, you know, whatever they're working on, like you killing the sheriff is not going to help. For whatever that or whatever he felt like he was, I mean, I know what he felt like he was doing. He felt like he was like putting a wrench in Darlene's operation, and so then that would make it easier. It would just put her out of business, and so instead of her like listening to them and like not doing what they asked her to do as far as not selling the heroin, just make her business hard to, you know, just make it hard for her business to operate smoothly. So I think that's what he was doing, but he wasn't thinking about it in terms of, hey, you know, if bodies start dropping around the place and they link it to us, you know, they're gonna make it difficult for our end game. You know, and you always want to be conscious of your end game, though. Like, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to do anything like that's gonna mess up the end game. You know, you don't want to do something in the here and now that's gonna like jack up your end game, because that's basically what that would do, and it's not as serious. Like, they might as well just let her sell her heroin or whatever, if that means that they're gonna mess up the end game. Like, let her have that, you know, because in the end game, you know, like they're trying to do something else. So he smacks the shit out of Javi. Javi's promising him like he'll take care of it and he'll make sure everything's fine and that there's no blowback on them. In the following scene, Darlene is dealing with the loss of the sheriff, because that's also was their friend. Like, her husband knew that sheriff for a long time, so they're also friends. And then so she goes up to the other sheriff to see if she can bring the sheriff, you know, and see if they can get things back on the same page as where she had it, you know. And so that was kind of that's where they were at. Or that's where she was at with it when she went, because she went over to the police station to see if she could bribe her, but she was just like, nah, it's not happening, and that was kind of that. And then in the next scene, Tommy from Power is on that show, and he's willing to work with Darlene. But his dad, and they're part of the KC mob, was not doing it. When I say KC mob, I mean Kansas City mob. So they weren't all the way comfortable with doing the distribution if like they didn't have the police backing them. You know, so they kind of pulled out. So then. Now Darlene doesn't have any muscle, and she doesn't have a distributor. The investor is still looking for Helen. He's still creeping around everywhere looking for Helen. You know, his character is kind of annoying me because you know, like, it's just like, man, I wish this character would go somewhere, you know.
There's your target. It better not die on its way to the extraction point.
Yeah, like, his character is starting to like irk me, because it's just like, man, there's always that character though, you know. there's always that character in each season that's like that, that's just like pursuing stuff that's just annoying, where it's just, oh man, you know, like there's always that character in each one. So
Trigger the trap.
Capture system on.
yeah, it's in each season there was that character. First it was the guy that was dating Haya's dad. Then there was the black dude who I believe was sleeping with the other detective. And then now there's the inspector, who I believe is Helen's ex-husband. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Darlene goes to the sheriff. Darlene goes to the... Oh, we already went over that part when Darlene went to the sheriff to go see about... to see if she can bribe her into taking the place of the old sheriff. Wendy takes a meeting with some guy to discuss politics, because it seems like she's going to be trying to run for it seems like she's going to be trying to run for some form of Congress. I'm not quite sure what, but it's looking like she's going to try to like be a mayor or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. A mayor, a governor, something. You know, it looks like she's going to try to get involved in that.
Stick to what works and improvise where you must. Keep moving forward.
It looks like they're trying to take money laundering, like from money laundering to being like one of the most prominent families in the Midwest. You know, like they're just gonna take it to the top. Like the possibilities of what they could do, like, are just kind of just astronomical. You know, like they could do all sorts of stuff. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's looking like that's what she's trying to do. But in the following scene, Darlene tells Ruth they don't have a distributor, and Ruth and Wyatt are kind of like coming up with an idea to find an influencer for the heroin, so that then they could so from there, like if they have an influencer, it could just kind of sell itself, and they don't really need distributors. Like it'll kind of just sell itself. Marty meets. Well, within that conversation that Ruth and Wyatt were having, Darlene didn't like it because it seemed like she was being left out of. It seemed like she was being left out of the conversation. You know, like they were just talking and then like just like totally ignoring her. Like there's three people at the table, and it just kind of seemed like Darlene was being totally ignored. And so therefore, I don't know. Excuse me. I'm not quite sure, but it just seemed like she wasn't feeling that. And I always felt like there was like a kissing cousin thing going on with it. So I don't know if she's kind of watching out for that or something like that. But it did seem like they were like fairly close, like, but not in that way though. Cause I'm pretty sure it's not like that. But it does seem like they're like fairly, you know.
Reloading.
And so, like, I think, oh, wait, hold on, which one is it? Hold on, let me see. I got. Oh, they own me. They own me. They own me. They own me. So much for that. I had the studies where I had to like complete 3 objectives and have 60% health. I'm at 53 now, so I just messed that up. It's on me.
I'm reloading.
All right. All right. So where was I at? Let me see here. Oh yeah. It was looking like Darlene wasn't like too cool. Wasn't too cool with like Wyatt and.
Right there. Set the explosives. Stay on guard.
She wasn't like she wasn't feeling the two of them having that conversation about that. It didn't seem like she was saying a whole lot at the time, but the camera was kind of focused on her, like like she just didn't like what was going on. Oh Lord, come on, man. Alright, I'm out. I'm not even finna do this one. Although I feel like I could pull it off though. Never mind, I'm just gonna mill. Is in this game it's better to just extract though. To like fail in the extraction and stuff. It's just better to just extract. Cause then you at least get some XP.
Vital signs critical.
Got intel.
Oh.
Your efforts are not in vain. Anyone here with React will tell you that.
All right, so after that conversation between Wyatt, Ruth, and Darlene, Marty meets with the detective Maya to talk to her about Navarro, and then he tells her that Navarro wants to meet with you, but then she's not too she's not too enthusiastic about it, but she tells him like she'd meet with him, but like she doesn't want him to know where she stays at and that sort of stuff. And so then Marty says, hey, you can come stay with me. And so then she agrees to meet with them, and then he's like, Charlotte will watch Wilson for you and all of that stuff. And Wilson is such a grown name though for a baby. Like when you just be Wilson, it just sounds like the baby already grown. I don't know why. Like now that I'm just name out loud, it just feels like excuse me seems like so grown though of a name, like for a baby. Like I don't know why. Like I don't know, there's certain names that just like feel like that. I don't know, I guess maybe it's like a strong name or something like that, like a because even like I don't know, I want to say another name, but I don't, but like it's a popular name, so like I'm trying to like not be offensive at the same time, but like say like I don't know, like it just seems like for a baby, like I don't know, but you're not gonna be a baby forever, so I guess it doesn't matter, and I guess I'm just being silly and I'm off on a tangent. So I'm gonna get back to talking about Ozark, season 4, episode 2. All right, so Jonah ends up having all this stuff sent over to parents are wondering what is this? It looks expensive and all of this stuff. And he tells them like, hey, I'm washing money for Ruth. You know, Marty looks a little bit proud of his son, 14 years old, laundering money, but Wendy's just like, no, he's the ops now. So then Marty goes over and tells Charlotte, don't tell him none of our business no more about anything. He's the ops. And so then that's pretty much what it was. But Marty was seeming a little bit proud. But then he goes over and talks to Ruth like, hey, leave my son alone. How do you have him laundering money for you? And Ruth is just like, what are you going to do about it? Which is Jonah's take on everything too. Like, because it was awfully bold for him to even just be like, this is what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, in their house though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, what are you gonna do though, for real? Because tell him like, you ain't laundering money under this roof, then he's gonna go stay somewhere else, and you really don't want your 14-year-old to just go off and go do something else. Like, you don't want them to go stay somewhere else or do any of that. Like, whatever they're doing, you want to keep them close. So like, because I would feel that way. Like, I wouldn't want him to do that, because then I'm just throwing him off to his own devices, and he's for sure finna make a bad decision then. So like I wouldn't wanna like put him off to his own devices like that. So I think that I would be like the birds and just be like, man, whatever, you know what I'm saying? This is like, and the problems that they have and the moves that they're trying to make and the things that they're trying to do, like that shit is like miniature literature to the, like, okay, you're washing money, whatever, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm over here trying to get a cartel leader to look like a model citizen so he can go to and from the U.S. and all of this sorts of stuff. We just got done getting rid of a body of a sheriff. Helen got an investigator looking for her, but we got done washing our brains out of our hair, and like, shit is just real. So it's like you're like the fact that the fact that my 14-year-old son wants to launder money is just like falls like pretty low on the priorities list. You know, like unfortunately, like for us everyday people, when we look at it, it might seem like what the hell, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all just gonna let that go under the radar? Yeah, that's nothing to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But in the big scheme of things and like what's going on in their life, it kind of is. You know, like it's kind of just like, man, whatever, man, go launder your little buddies. You know, like that's how they kind of went about it. And so in the following scene, we got Ruth looking for somebody to influence the heroin for her. She goes and takes a dinner with this guy in Chicago. You know, he's like, okay, she's like, go ahead and try some. You know, we need somebody to influence this stuff. You know, go ahead and try some. He's like, I'm not gonna try some unless you try some. She tries some. They both try some. He's like, all right, I'm gonna mess with you, but I want to come to the farm. He ends up going down to the farm, and Darlene just shits on the entire deal, like, because like I was saying before, it looked like she wanted to be more involved in it, or she wants to be in control of it. She doesn't want them to come through and take control of her whole operation, which I understand too, though. Like, I'm not gonna say that I don't understand it, but like it's just like people need to speak up more and say something more. Like, people need to, like, if she was feeling like, hey, you two are trying to run off of my business and trying to do all of this and that, she could have said that point of her bringing somebody all the way down to the farm and then not even feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Because if she would have said something prior to that, she wouldn't have been over here trying heroin with the dude and trying to convince him to go over here and do all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? She would have just been like, okay, well, we'll figure something else out. You know what I'm saying? If she didn't feel comfortable, or if she felt like, hey, you two is trying to bust a move, and I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Just say something right when you see something's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Don't just sit on it. You know, person done, she done already made moves and did this, that, and the other, and then turn around and shit on the deal. Oh, and then and then you leave a person just like, what the fuck? You know, and that's exactly what Ruth said. She was just like, what the fuck? You know, so like it's just best to like say something right when you feeling away. Say something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's because it's not, because it just, I don't know, like it just, Ruth went all the way to Chicago and got this guy, had him come back over here, and then she gonna be like, nah, but truth be told, she wasn't feeling it the whole time. You know, so like I don't know. I mean, it makes for good TV though, so I'm not knocking it, because it does make for good TV. But then Wendy and Marty get the meet with this investor, and try to get her to get opium from them, you know, as a raw material for this pharmaceutical place. They trying to get them to get the opium from them instead of getting it from like Afghanistan and overseas and stuff, because like they saying that it would be cheaper and they would save like $300 million, and they just like, can you invest 150 of that with us in the Bird Foundation? And you know, because the company's in a hole, and so they're just figuring like that would get them out of the hole. Oh, hold on, let me get into this. I'm getting into the show now and it's like and so then it's kind of like sidetracking me on the Rainbow Six. But yeah, so then they end up convincing the lady to go ahead, because they're just like, hey, this is like the best thing. This is like, you know, they're kind of like, this is best thing for you to do in order to like save your company and stuff, and you'll be helping us at the same time, and it's FDA approved and all of that, so come fuck with us. And the lady's like, all right. And so then they end up getting their 150 million, and Wendy ends up calling the guy and letting him know like, hey, you know I got the money, you know, because I think she's trying to run for office or something like that. So that's pretty much helping her get to where she wants to be at in office, because it takes money to fund the campaign. And so I guess that was like enough for her to like fund. That was enough to like help fund her campaign. And after that, and then Javi shows up. on his boat once Marty to help him clean up Helen's house after he killed the sheriff over there. So I guess he done killed the sheriff over there, but didn't even clean up or nothing there. So I guess there was still blood everywhere, or maybe he's just cleaning up the fingerprints and doing like due diligence over there.
We need new data
I
on
don't
the
even know.
parasite's underground network.
I don't know if he just left it like that how it was or what, but.
Don't destroy them or we'll lose the
But
traffic.
I guess they was over there cleaning, and then the new sheriff that's taking place sheriff shows up.
Tag those beds with auto trackers.
Yeah, I guess he shows up. I guess she shows up, and then she sees Marty over there cleaning the house, and she tells Marty like you might not want to be cleaning the house like that.
Auto tracker activated.
You know, like because if she's missing, you know, like
Auto tracker activated.
if she's, because it's like.
Got what we need. Since the ecosystem
Because it's like if she's missing, you know, there might be evidence around there, you know, like, which like for police, I don't know, like if police see anybody cleaning, they're going to think something's up, you know, but they didn't really give him, she didn't really give him too much shit because he was saying that, like, he's in charge of the property while Helen's not there. And so that's why he was cleaning up. So I guess she just took that for what it was, you know. And they just called it a day. Like they didn't mess with it too much outside of that, you know. Like they didn't do too much with it, or like she didn't pursue it too much after that.
You're adapting well to the circumstances. Keep that momentum.
All right, and so in the next scene, we have Maya finally making it over to the Bird's house. They are having dinner, and then Maya ends up seeing the investigator dude in the backyard. He stayed popping up on them at dinner, you know. And this is the part where I kind of like felt like, oh, okay, that's her husband, because that's Helen's ex-husband, because he says something like he has like a intuition type of get down, and his ex-wife didn't like it, you know, because he's like, you know where she's at, you know what happened to her, I kind of have this sense about it. My wife used to hate, my ex-wife used to hate it. And when he said that, it was like, oh, okay, so Helen must be his ex-wife. And so then and so that's what makes me think that. So like earlier in this breakdown when I had said that, that's just kind of like what I was thinking. And so from there, Marty comes outside and he's like, hey, I told you to get off my property. Am I gonna have to buy a fence or something? You know, you need to get off of my property. And then so then he pretty much just gets off the property, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, from there. So from there, they all go to sleep after that, like after the dinner and stuff, and then Navarro ends up calling, and then they
You have to follow
and they have to.
First station first.
I'm reloading.
They have to meet with her, but then Maya's having second thoughts. And Maya's like, I don't know if I want to do this. Because prior to Navarro calling, she has a conversation with Marty, and she asks Marty, like, is there anything you're not telling me? And then he tells her, like, yeah, Hobby's over here visiting, Navarro's nephew is visiting. You know, he tells her, like, yeah, Navarro's nephew is visiting and all of that stuff. And so then she feels like there's stuff that she doesn't know, and she's not entirely comfortable with meeting Navarro and all of that stuff, because she feels like she's just not in the loop like that, and she doesn't feel like it's safe. But then Wendy goes and convinces her, like, hey, if you don't do this, you know, like, there's not nothing to stop me from, like, doing stuff for you when it comes down to it. If you don't do this, and you don't just say no to him, like, you say no to him, like, he's not gonna like it. You don't just say no to him, especially after you already say yeah. You know, so I guess Maya has a change of heart and she ends up changing her mind, leaving the baby with Charlotte and the birds, and going to go take the meeting with Navarro. Which I don't feel like would ever happen in actual life, but I guess that's what ends up happening. Um, and then the episode. So in the next episode, I guess we'll see what happens with the deal, and if Marty and them actually pull it off. Because when we see in the first one, like it looks like whatever they're trying to do in this season, like whatever it is that they're trying to do, it looks like they may have pulled it off. Because like it seemed like they were on their way to wherever they were trying to be, and it didn't seem like they was running. It just seemed like they was just going. So yeah. So overall, I enjoyed the episode. Jonah's kind of pissing me off, but I kind of get it. But I feel like he's, I feel like he's gonna come. I feel like he's gonna fall into his own situation, where he's gonna understand decisions that his parents have made. He's gonna, like, with the stuff that he's doing, like he's gonna understand. He's gonna understand real quick, like this particular decisions that get made and things that happen, and when you're involved in that kind of stuff, and how some stuff can just be out of your hands and things like that. I think he's gonna see it firsthand in a minute. So you know, like just getting his money, laundering money and all of that stuff, he's finna see real quick, like how stuff just tends to happen. Cause like I don't know, like I just feel like him seeing them put that body, that sheriff's body in the trunk like he did, like he didn't have like zero content doing what he was doing. They couldn't control that to where it's like stuff just got out of hand. You know, like it's unfortunate, but stuff was just getting out of hand. I'm dry. It was just getting like stuff was like beyond like their control at some points, and it was like the best they could do for everybody. The best thing that could happen, like, was like Ben. That scenario, like the only thing they could do is let Ben fall by the wayside, because like it was gonna be all of them, if not just Ben. And like Ben wasn't thinking, and it just felt like Ben wasn't thinking about nobody when he was doing that. But he also just had some mental shit going on too, so it was like he's not thinking at full capacity. You know, I don't know who, like, how he knew, like, as much as he knew to begin with, but he did, and like, just him being bipolar or whatever he was, it just didn't mesh well. You know, like, because it just was like a bad situation to, like, it just was like something. Ooh. Uh-oh.
Stasis foam activated.
Dang. But yeah, it just was like, went from bad to worse. But my whole point to that is that Ben, what was going on with Ben was kind of out of their hands, and once Helen found out about it, you know, like Helen was just like, okay, it's like we gonna take out all of you, or we could just take out him. You know, like, and so like it was like, I'm sure, like I'm almost sure, like, if Ben had the choice, like if it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying, myself or my family, you know what I'm saying, like he would made that decision himself. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, I'm not trying to justify it. I know it sounds jacked up like I'm trying to justify it, but I'm just saying. You know, if it really came down to the wire and it was something like that, I'm sure, you know, Ben would have headed made that sacrifice. But anyways, I really enjoyed the episode. I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. Like, I'm trying to just like pace myself with, like, I know all the whole season's on Netflix, binge it, but I'm trying to pace myself because there's not a lot of good stuff to watch on right now. But I also want to do the Book of Boba. I got Peacemaker to do later on this evening, so I'm gonna be trying to get to Peacemaker as well. So be on the lookout for that video as well. I'm rooting for everybody on there. On Ozark, I'm rooting for everybody. I'm especially rooting for Ruth, because Ruth is the homie, and I really just hope that she prevails. Like, I just hope that, like, all good things come Ruth's way. Like, that's all I'm doing. I'm rooting for all things Ruth in Ozark. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Marty's gonna be just fine. Like, cause he always is. You know, like, I don't even feel like Marty needs any rooting for. Although, like, Marty's kind of doing his thing, like, for his family and all of that stuff, and like, I root for that. That's like the Walter White of this show. But it's like, he seems like he's gonna be all right. He always figured out, you know. Like, he always seems to be. He always seems to, like, have stuff figured out. The people that are just, like, scrambling and trying to, like, get it together, Ruth, you know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for Maya. I want Maya to be all right. And one thing that I've noticed about this show is, like, everybody in this show just kind of just getting pulled into this mess. Like Marty even, you know what I'm saying, the lead character even, and his family, you know what I'm saying. First Marty gets pulled into it, then his family gets pulled into it, then Ruth gets pulled into it, and then her family kind of got pulled into it. Then you got Maya, and she's kind of getting pulled into it, and she didn't even have a choice. Maya wasn't over there trying to convince this man to be no informant. Up like, I'm trying to be an informant and get immunity and be able to go from the U.S. to Mexico. This is what I want to do. You know, like, she's not even, most of the time it take them coming up to you. Most of the time, from what I don't know, you know, like, I don't know how those things work, but it seems like most of the time they knocking on your door, not the other way around, you know. So, like, it just feels like everybody's getting pulled into it, you know, and it's crazy. But, like, I've just noticed that about it, and so, like, I'm just rooting for people, everybody, because like, it just seems like these are people that are just getting drama, though, you know what I'm saying? It's so, like, I root for everybody on the show. It's just that I'm not rooting for Marty because it seems like he gonna be all right. You know, like, for some reason I just feel like Marty gonna be all right. You know, so, like, I'm rooting for Ruth. You know, and I don't know, I might even make some shirts, like, you know what I'm saying, I stand with Ruth, you know what I'm saying, like Ruth is the homie, and I rock with Ruth, and I just want her to win. You know, I don't know, but I just want her to win. That's all I know. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Please hit that like and subscribe, all that good stuff. I am Wrinkled Threads. Be safe, and until next time, peace.